understand what's popular doesn't make it right. I learned that through a small experience through my mom or my dad. And so you have to be careful in this area. This area, dear mommies and dear daddies, is an area that is getting way out of control. You letting them cuss just as much as you cuss. They don't identify that the two are different. They forget they're a child because you're busy giving them adult responsibilities. I understand the world is built in a way where the parent has to work a lot more hours just to balance the checks at home. But find time to do at-home work so you can be present, so your daughter is not tending to the rest of your kids like she's their mother. Because that can be a trickling effect. You might think it's teaching her responsibility, but in her mind, it might be teaching her that she's prepared to handle a baby. No, it wouldn't go that far. You can't control that. Just because they don't vocalize it doesn't mean they don't think it. And that's why you need to dwell with your kids and understand it. Watch some movies, see how they respond to certain things without judging them. Take notes, archive it, study them, and then address things when repetition happens. Hey, come here for a second. What's going on? What you mean, what's going on? I notice every time you leave the house, you're doing a little bit extra of X, Y, and Z. Whatever you might observe with them. And they were like, huh? No, I love you. And that's what you need to start it off with. I love you. And I love you enough to notice when things seem a bit off. I'm your mom. And I care for you more than anybody outside this door. I'm your dad. And I care for you more than anybody outside this door. So what's going on? I don't want to talk about it. Okay. But I just wanted to let you know I noticed. And it might be that initial time that they might tuck it. But later on in the week they might bring it up, or the month. They need to feel like home is a haven. And that's why suicidal thoughts happen with a lot of teenagers. But the reason why they're acted on more now than in the past is because these houses that we live in, reside in, are not homes to these children. They don't feel like they safe havens enough where they can unravel and just be themselves outside of what the world. When they step out of that door, they wear a mask. They wear a mask, a persona for social acceptance, to be liked, to excel, to be popular, to be estimated to be the most smartest person. They wear a different mask. And whether it's true to their character or not, they need to know that when they come home, regardless what mask they wear outside the door, when they come inside the door, mommy and daddy is there for me to be me. And they should be comfortable with that. So dear mommy, dear daddy, take control. Take control of the label that you hold in their life. You are their mom, you are their dad. They are your son, they are your daughter. And as long as you hold that lantern, they'll identify it with a level of respect. Because let me tell you something. Being their girlfriend or their homie as a man, or their girlfriend as a female, In your eyes, you might think you're building a level of closeness where you can talk, but you'll talk on a level that is very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is this what you're mapping out for your kid? And I've done counseling. I was life coaching for 5 years at a high school for 9th to 12th graders. I did foster care before that. I'm well rounded in how kids work. And you have to dwell with them. They have to identify you as a respectful person. Regardless how your life is going, you have to prioritize them. And I'm not necessarily saying tuck your life, but be able to manage it in such a way that they know that they're a priority above everything else. So dear mommy, dear daddy, let's get this school year together, 2018-2019. And when it comes to self-management with your emotions, when it comes to your relationships, be able to dialogue and vent to people that are your age at the right time, the appropriate time. Be able to, if there's no issues going on, but you have desires and needs, be able to manage them in such a way that they don't need immediate attention. Because if you're single, your daughter should not see several people of interest walking in and out and in and out your life. Or men. Because men tend to think, oh, okay, well, I'm a man. It doesn't really affect them. No. You are shaping how they deal with things socially. And so much is being mismanaged. People are not handling rejection well. And they're reacting in violent ways. And you don't want your child to be one of those people, because premature love in your teenage years is fleeting. It comes and goes. And you want your child to be equipped with enough knowledge to roll with the punches. And that involves you sitting down and talking with them. Not sitting back and waiting until they go through a bruise. Chatting with them. Being real with them. Showing them that you've been through it. But then giving them enough space to be themselves. And I'm a strong advocate in praying. Because what can't be said definitely can be prayed for. And prayer takes away the tension or the irritation that you might have to control them and allow them to be them. Because at the end of the day, all you can do is hope that they walk in the way that you direct them. You can put the fear of God in them, which my parents did. I was scared of my dad, and I had a good fear because I wanted to meet his expectations as a young lady. I wanted to make sure I don't do X, Y, and Z so he can view me in a certain way. And so that was key for me. And so your child can have those same things with you, whether you're a female or a male. And when it comes to chastisement, you do things accordingly, but not in abusive ways. Because you don't want your child to take away the fact that you love them. They need to know, okay, You chastise them out of love. It's because you love them. That's why you chastise them. And when you realize that, and they realize that, y'all grow to a deeper appreciation for your relationship. But for those that have teenagers, you are going to go through a realm of them not even liking you for no reason. And it's mainly because they're wrestling with the fact that I'm not really a child anymore, but I'm definitely not an adult. So they wrestling with themselves, and because of the internal wrestle, they externally try to wrestle with those that really love them. And I'm speaking from experience, also knowledge of child psychology. They don't even know why they arch enemy is their mother or father. And so you can't take it personal. You still got to walk in love. You still got to love them in such a way that it makes them frown upon even a nasty disposition that they might take on. So dear mommy, dear daddy, this 2018 to 2019 school year, you have an extra obligation. And let me say this last thing when it comes to chastisement. Do not fight them like a stranger in the street. Mothers to daughters, fathers to sons. Because you are building a persona that you will not be able to handle when they start responding accordingly, when they stop looking at you as a loving figure. You chastise them, but this is the key thing. You chastise them when some of your anger and frustration has calmed down. Because you know, even when it comes to adult relationships, you have to take a breather. You cannot respond in the moment when you're so angry, because you might say things that not necessarily you didn't mean to say, because that's not true. We definitely say what we mean to say. We just didn't think it was going to be delivered that way. But we let our emotions get the best of us and we flew off the handle. But it's no such thing as I didn't mean for you to hear that. No, you meant to say it. But the way you said it could have been different. Your timing could have been off. You could have waited when you was calmer and the person heard the message more than your emotions. And so that's how it is with your kids too. Because you can't chastise without conversation. They're still human beings. They're still trying to define the world through your eyes first, initially. And if you're not present to allow them to define the world through your eyes, they'll find it through somebody else's. And they won't respect you. And then that's something you have to own up to and accept the consequences thereof. So dear mommy, dear daddy, and when it comes to these little babies, they're just as critical during this time as your teenagers. Take the time out to know them. Understand them, to love them. Even when they irritate you, step back and realize when you were a kid. See yourself in their actions. I know my son got 80 to 90% of my actions. He's a brainy guy, but he is talkative and 100% active. He's a power. Popeye with the spinach all day, every day, non-stop. Like he's non-stop, a runner. And that was me when I was a child. So I have to calm myself. I can only get but so irritated. And so you